here? What interests you? Oh, we have 5 people. Great.
Okay. I'm
5
Dmitry
people,
from
5.
Russia. I'm from Russia. From Russian Let's Do It team. I do internet marketing. I do for everything for internet promoting. Let's do it in Russia. So that's all.
Очень приятно. Спасибо.
Взаимно спасибо.
So, Antje and Mersveil, are you just listening, or you want to also say a few words?
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, do you see me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm from Germany, from Team Germany. And I'm a leader from called Thuringia, a little space of Germany. And I'm doing for 2 years now, working a day and organize here in Thuringia. I speak with the schools, with the kindergarten, with politicians, and organize to do this together. And now I hope to get some information from you how to make more people go to the working up day. So.
Okay, thank you. Now we have Antje and Denina. Would you be so kind to present yourself? If not, we're not going to force you, but I count to 5. If you say nothing, then we continue. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's move on. So I have just a short video. Would you be so kind, Raimo, from your side to show it? Just
sorry, from where I can find it?
Oh, sorry, I shared it with you in an email. I just sent it to you to the
okay, yes,
Zoom
then I will immediately ask Merrick where the...
Oh, but I could also then share it from my screen,
okay.
I think. Yeah, okay, that would be easier, I guess, because I think I have it open already. Dun, dun, dun. Well, this is just a little bit as a background of a possible approach to and as a starting point for our conversation. Okay, just a
and
second.
when you're about to show the video, please
screen.
make the 2 marks when you're about to share the screen to share also the audio and optimize for video sharing.
Okay, so I have to do share, and then I have to do 2 marks.
They are down below, should be.
You mean in Zoom? Down below.
Probably you can just play it and.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm just going to play it, and you will say what happens.
Yes.
Does it work? It works. Okay.
Its main symptom is irrational manic paroxysm. The disease is most often exhibited as euphoric picking of all kinds of waste. Cleaning thousands of dump sites has created an enormous stain in the environment. According to expert estimations, 70,000 cubic meters of waste produced in one single day. On the 17th of April 2010, the HPE pandemic has been spreading all over Sweden. almost 15% of Slovenian citizens are infected, including children of all ages, doctors, athletes, soldiers, pensioners, cablers, and foresters. It is suspected that the waste food pandemic had begun in Estonia in 2008. A mutated variety reached Slovenia in 2009. The disease is spreading by touch, although some experts believe all it takes is an unexpected smile. The gravity of the pandemic is evident from the fact that even politicians, singers, and fashion models have been involved by the manic cleanup.
We have checked the entire area. There isn't a trace of waste anywhere. The international media are warning that due to the horrible waste flu pandemic, Slovenia has become the cleanest country in Europe. Traveling to Slovenia can be extremely dangerous, leading to manic smiling and voluntary engagement in social activities.
And how can you protect yourself from the infection? Do not associate with other people. After work, head directly home. Stay at home, watch TV, and don't pay any attention to the groups of smiling people picking waste. The HPE pandemic is spreading with the speed of light. According to scientific estimations, entire Earth will be affected by 2012. Then, the magnificent world, as we know it, will become frightfully clean.
World Cleanup 2012. Coming soon to your country. Join in. Let's do it.
Yeah, this is no sound. Okay, sorry. But you could follow the subtitles. Oops, sorry. In any case, I will just paste the link and you can check it out. Sorry?
There was sound, but not loudly, like
Sorry, I didn't prepare well. Sorry. In any case, I pasted the link. You can watch it later. I just shared it because I thought it's kind of interesting in the times of pandemic to think about spreading the movement as a pandemic, which is the way we thought about it in already in 2010 and 2011, and we made this video as something to support the 2012 world cleanup effort, which was the first time we attempted doing it, and then in 2018 it only reached this potential that it had already back in 2012. But as you can imagine, building up such a huge project takes time and energy. So for those of you who are here, maybe I just say a few words about myself. My name is Nara and I'm from Slovenia. I heard about the cleanup in 2009. In 2009, there was only Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and I think that was it, who did the cleanups back then. And I came to Slovenia and we started the organization with just one video as a support. I don't know how many of you know the first video that was made by Estonian team about their cleanup. It's a 5-minute video, and this was our main tool that we used to get everybody else inspired. And we built a team, and 7 months later, in April of 2010, we've had 13.5% of our population participating in the cleanup. So I think this is still the record. So we have the biggest participation around the world ever. We also had a really good measurement system. So our numbers are really accurate because we've been contacting, we had a chain of contact all the way from the core team, from the headquarters on the cleanup day to the through the regional and municipal level to the actual people cleaning. So we got really accurate numbers from like that. It was some 270,000 people who participated in the first cleanup. And then that led also to other countries contacting us and saying, gosh, how did you do it? Can you just share some experiences with us? And it took some of us, like really as activists, to various countries. So initially it was very disorganized. We just got a phone call or an email and we just said, okay, let's go. I had a friend who had a very economic car. We sat in the car and we drove there. And that's how I was in Romania, in Moldova, in Estonia a couple of times, in the Netherlands, and then later also through the coordinated efforts all around the world in almost 50 countries actually by now. So through these organized and also organized efforts, we've came to this point where we have so many countries participating, some with really amazing results. And I feel that this multiplication of leadership is what's then leading this effort. In Slovenia, we had the same example. We were a couple of people who managed to multiply the efforts and then spread it to other leaders. I'm not using any PowerPoint on purpose, just because I think that just speaking and explaining it is valuable. If you need any photos or any images, I will just paste into the chat for those of you who are here. And if anybody else wants to check it. Oops, is this it? Interesting. I just want to check if it's the right thing. Nope, sorry. I'm used to getting it much easier. In any case, in 2010, we've published a final report. That's how we called it. It's a publication. It's in PDF and also in printed version where we told our story. And this is, okay, now I got it. Now I have it. Yes. Okay, now I'm pasting it here. They changed the link, which I had saved. So here we tell the whole story of how we did it. And this was translated to Chinese and to some other languages, because people found it really valuable. And that's how then in the long run, we managed to transfer our knowledge. All the Balkan countries, so our neighbors, did it in following many of our best cases, inventing many others, of course. And so many, like many countries took a look at it. And some people said, this is our Bible. So that's the status that this report had in the end. So in any case, those countries that created such reports then are supporting also other countries in their efforts. So whatever you're doing, I'm now serving in ECOLISE as a research officer, and I'm trying to, this will be the second part of my presentation, will be about putting down a library of all the knowledge about what we're doing. So in the second part, I'll speak more about it, but I'm really, really interested in this, and I'm really encouraging you to write down everything that you do to engage academics, students, to digest all the information, to make analysis. For example, if you listen to Enzo, I don't know if you've been to Enzo's lecture. He's a scientist for zero waste, and their research is so valuable. I don't know if they didn't have this research department, their work would be much less potent. So if you're doing something valuable, please write it down. And if you share it with me, I can explain also to you how you can do it on your own way, using the infrastructure that already exists. So basically, I'm just explaining a few things about myself, how we did it in Slovenia. I don't want to go in detail, but if you want to check, we also have a documentary, 1-hour documentary about it. You can look at it. You can look at it. There is a report. You can read it. and from that you can emulate different things. But now I would like to go to the essence of it, and I like to use the phrase where people don't care how much you know if they don't know how much you care. And you can come to people with all the statistics in the world. You can come with all the data, with all the reasons, trying to reach their reason, but they won't be really reacting to your invitation unless they see how much you care. And that's where your presentation really needs to start. The passion, it can be just one thing that moves you. It can be cigarette butts, like we saw people really passionate about cigarette butts in the previous presentations. You know, shame them, shame them, shame them, shame them. You know, use cigarette butts in that kind of way. Or you can use, let's say, I like Roman Peter. I don't know if you know him. He's my idol in this sense. He's so passionate about cleaning, and he every piece of waste he just yeah, he's such an ethical person, I feel. And he's my inspiration. Like, I just brought it here. Oh, I don't have it here. In any case, I like how to avoid packaging, how to avoid trash. I learned so much about him. Maybe not learned technically, but just got infected from his passion to implement things that he's doing in his life. To use like glass bottle, not buying plastic, and so many other things. In some cases, I infect some people, but that's quite rare actually. I'm just looking for something here and I can't find it. It's a brush for your teeth. It's just a wooden stick. If you want to know more about it, I can explain. It's completely avoiding any plastic for brushing your teeth. So we talked about cigarette butts. We could talk about toothbrushes as well if you want, and toothpaste. And so I haven't been using toothbrush in 15 years almost. So yeah. Dimitri, had your hand up, or was it just a cheer?
Yeah. I just agreed with you. Thank you.
Okay, cool. So in any case, you can get many different practices and just check with you what's your passion. And this is what you communicate. And in this way, you can reach people and you can get them on board. Then a second part is when people come to you with passion, if you're the leader in the team, then you kindle that passion even more. You inflame it even more and give the people free hands. In our case, we had girls from fashion industry. They really wanted to be part of the project, and we just supported them wholeheartedly to organize a fashion show made with waste. And this was our way of reaching through the media the people who otherwise we couldn't. This is just one of the examples of somebody coming to us and speaking about fashion. You might say, well, whatever, you know, this is not important. But then listening to them and giving them free hands for them to figure out. People are smart; they know how to connect their efforts to something greater. And if they have free hands, they will be even more motivated to work with you. So it's a way of including passion of yourself and of other people to get to work for the common goal. So the issue here is a little bit of how to connect things into one whole. Because I see through the years that we are not always successful in that. But in the last couple of years, I'm seeing this moving forward much better. I would rather see that all of us in the world focus on one item and we really serve that, that part of cleaning than to just do all our own thing, because this increases our power, our potency, especially in the media, in the messaging. Like this year, the choice was to use cigarette butts. I think it was a good idea. I don't know, your evaluation will show how successful it was in terms of, yeah, how motivated people were to participate. But in any case, butts are, I think, a good topic as something to focalize our efforts. I know we had this pandemic, so things were limited, so we couldn't participate. And I was really happy to see how people made all kinds of innovations to get around the limitations of pandemic. So yeah, show people what you care about, be passionate, show your passion, and get people on board through that. Open up doors so they can include their passion to the project. These are like really, really crucial steps. You don't need to have all the technical support. You don't need to have much infrastructure. If people know that they are invited, that this is a common project, you're not owning it in a controlling way, you're owning it just in a supporting way, then people will be really, really happy to participate and to contribute. Like as a fun fact, one of our first times we've appeared on the national television was by a guy who heard about the project from some newspaper or from some friends, and he started organizing in a village. And the media kind of found him, heard about him, and came to him and spoke with him. And he'd never asked us for any permission. He never communicated with us. And and he was a very simple man, speaking in a very strong dialect. And he got quite a few questions. And he said, yeah, I'm talking to everybody. I was with the mayor, and we've agreed about everything. And people in our core team, they were really worried because they didn't know about what he's communicating with the mayor. And then the media asked him, so what are you going to do in case of rain? And he said, yeah, that's my next meeting. I'm going to speak to the priest, and he has connections up there. I said that was one of first appearances in the media, and our PR team thought it was catastrophic. This is horrible. But it really touched people. It was very honest, simple man speaking from his heart, and that was kind of contributing actually to our campaign. So it taught us to include all kinds of messages. It doesn't matter what people say, it just matters that people speak about your project. And this was a big lesson. So being out there, getting people to talk about you, no matter how, no matter what, just then contact them and say thank you. Don't chastise them, say thank you. This was really awesome. Even like one of the biggest campaigns which we had for 2012, I don't know if anybody remembers Talking Tom application.
I have tried.
You remember it, Raimo?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so Talking Tom is an app which was designed by Slovenian programmers. They sold it for 1 billion.
The simple reason why I know it, I'm about the age, my friends have the children, and that's the reason.
Okay, you see. So in any case, they really hit on like, it was very cheap. People were downloading it and they became millionaires. So we, in Slovenia for 2012 campaign, we've contacted them. And they got us, they said, yes, let's communicate. So we were actually talking to the manager of Talking Tom. Each of the characters has their own manager. So we talked to the manager, and the manager, like, they designed the whole like 1 minute clip, which we used for promotion. And none of our people in our team liked it, but this was the most viewed Let's Do It production. It had, I don't know, maybe now 15 million views, or I don't know how many. Like at the time, right away after we published it in 2012, it had like 4 million views. So we had huge outreach through Talking Tom. Maybe you can find it, Talking Tom, and Let's Do It, or Word Cleanup, something like that. Yes, Talking Tom and Ben, news, Word Cleanup. Well, yeah, it has 16 million views. If you wanna look at it, you can check it here. Yeah, it's the Talking Tom app. Yeah, Talking Cat. That was the app, and they created this funny video about it. It was a kind of negative. It was nagging. That's what our people didn't like, because yeah, we have to be positive, we have to be kind and nice. But sometimes you have to just go astray from what you think your tone has to be, just in order to reach the audiences that you want to reach. Okay, so you, in order to get, I started this this presentation, the title of the presentation with yes. this is basically the main thing. Yes, it's the attitude you have when you are working in this kind of effort. It's yes, there's no. Whatever happens, there's a way around it. For example, just a few days before the cleanup, we got contacted by the government and they said, well, you need to insure people. If you don't insure them, you know, how can you guarantee if something happens? And we said, we cannot have a list of 300,000 people and bring them to insurance company in advance. It's not possible. It's just, and then we've worked around this with an insurance company that then was willing to insure any kind of incident for 5,000 euros, just as a like how is it, like lump sum, which we've fundraised and then paid into their fund, and this was kind of covering any kind of incident that could happen, health related, like somebody injuring or dying or whatever. And so even though they said it's not possible to do it without having insurance, in the end it was possible to do it. So if people tell you no, this is not possible, you just have to have the attitude, yes, it is possible. And that's the way really to go across any kind of obstacles which people will put in front of you. And it's unavoidable. You know, even when we talked to communication experts in the beginning, they said to us, our goal was 10% of population. They said it's impossible. 5% is the maximum you can expect. There's no way to get 10%. Like we've done research, volunteering, and blah 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 blah. 10% is just, it's such an illusion, so unrealistic that just forget about it. Kids, you know, they just treated as children because they were experts. We went from the meeting and we said, well, it's possible. So we just continued organizing the project as if we got a positive answer. But we really used the information that we heard from them. So it was not like we were there just sitting like this, you know, we don't care what you say. We really listened and we took a lot from what they've said, but we've just reversed it. Instead of saying, oh, it's not possible because of what I said, we said, oh, thank you, because now we learn what we need to do to avoid falling in the pit. And some innovations came up. For example, Merzweil, I don't know how to pronounce it, but or Antje. In any case, you brought up children, and children were our like main focus, or like one of our big focuses actually through the whole campaign. We've been traveling to schools, kindergartens, high schools, organizing events for them, reaching out to teachers, doing a lot through the Ministry of Education. For example, in 2012 cleanup, we've reached out to them like more than a year before in order so they would put the date of the cleanup into the school calendar. So basically the entire country had the cleanup officially through the Ministry of Education. So that's the way to get children on board. And then still, even though it's in the calendar, you need to work with schools directly to inspire, to motivate teachers, and to have them work with other teachers to get students on board. And so it's a very how to put it, it's not a one man's work. It's more like the virus that I showed the video in the beginning. It's more like infecting others, and then these other people infect others, and then it spreads on. And yeah, that's how it goes, with a few very simple goals that you have to set in the beginning. And the last thing I'm going to say in this introductory part, which I don't want to make too long, because then I expect us to go a little bit into interactive part and questions and answers, and also maybe a few exercises if you will be willing to do that. So the last thing is why. Like 5% is like, I want to get rich, I want to have 5 million or 5 billion or whatever. That's not the goal, that's just a means to the goal. So if you want to have 5% people participating, it's not the goal in itself. You want to have these people participating for certain ultimate reason, which you have to be aware of, you have to understand it. So in our case, we thought that we would use all the people who are participating for the ultimate goal, which is awareness raising and change of habits and zero waste. So we were one of the countries who decided after the first 2 cleanups not to continue with cleanups. And in 2018, we joined again with a message: this is really the last time. We're not cleaning. We're not going to do cleanups anymore. Instead, we are going to work strategically on zero waste with institutions, with officials, with schools, with all the others. So dispersing our activities and impact instead of just continuing with cleanups endlessly. You must have heard probably, if you're working with waste now, this analogy of, if you walk into a bathroom and it's flooded, you don't stop mopping it first. The first thing you do, you walk to the tap and you close it down so the water is not flowing, and then you go on to mop it. So it's a bit of this attitude. You focus on critical areas. That's what you clean, of course. But on the other hand, you first work to close the tap. And it's a big struggle because the habits are there, and it's unavoidable that people are just continuing the way they're used to, buying things in the way they're packaged, not looking for a more difficult way. They're using the easiest path. That's how it is. That's how most of us are. I just showed earlier the chewing stick as a way of brushing your teeth. It's a difficult way to adopt it. It's much easier to go to a shop and buy something that you've used since your childhood, and you know how to use it by buy and then use it and throw it away. But to adopt a chewing stick, you would need to learn how to do it. You have to learn about different trees and bushes that grow around you, and to know to learn how to make like a, I don't know if you can see, like a brush like this. And then you have to learn a different technique for brushing your teeth. It's really a habit change. And those of us who are very radical in terms of waste, and we do this thing and we stick to it and we keep our integrity. And even after 10 years, we're following we're walking our talk. No, we are walking our walk or talk, whatever. And this gives us the power of like moral power in front of other people. And that's how after people see that we do what we say, then people are much more keen to change their behavior, and that's the long-term goal. So going for 5% is not a goal in itself. It's a goal. It's a step. It's a means towards a goal. So I discourage people to just go for it because it's fashionable. I think it's something, so you need to know the why. And then you have a few levels of why. You have a common why and you have your individual why. That's what I started with. So your individual why is your own passion, your own something that moves you. And you can start with that. Of course, you can, including it in your conversations with people is crucial. And then for your individual why to be effective, it must be included in a broader why. So World Cleanup is a very broad why. Then our national cleanups are a bit more narrow why. And then we can have even narrower whys in our local groups, communities, municipalities, and then collaborated on all these levels, and connecting the chain of these whys is what can lead us to a very broad, successful global campaign. And I'm happy to see here Heidi and also Regine, who are my idols now in the last years, with all this passionate effort, and their why is empowering so many other people. That's really awesome. So we have good role models to follow, and that's making a big difference in the movement in the world in the last years. So yeah, I just said I would spend like half an hour in this first part. And if there's any questions or anything that's popping up, any comments or any ideas, I would be happy to hear. You can type it in chat. What to do if you can't reach the... Oh, that's a good one, yeah. What to do if you can't reach the tab? Speaking like in the flooded bathroom picture. Yeah, you can't reach the tab. There's always a way to get to it. The problem is that there's not only one tab. You know the cartoon when there is, I think it's Donald Duck or one of these guys, and they are in a sinking ship, and there's more holes than they have fingers. So they can't put their fingers in all the holes. So then they end up being like something like this, with trying to cover all the holes. And that is a big problem, actually. Yeah. So we need more fingers pressing into the right holes, and like closing more tabs. We need to be brave and to reach out to people with power who have access to these tabs, and to speak with them with reason. And if you're not the right person to speak to them, then you get somebody who is the right person and who can influence them. There is a way, and it's not an easy path, of course, and it will take time. I really appreciated when Gunther Pauli said yesterday, we have the solutions, we have all this packaging, we have multi-layer thing, but then the European Union, it takes like years and millions of euros to change the packaging. And I don't think it's, okay, at least there is a mechanism that we can change it, and now we have just to press for it to change. We have to understand the context and the reality and not give up. I think that's the way to go. Even though it seems at the moment we can't reach it, we have to be tireless. We have to be just pressing on and getting out to these people and trying to well, you know, I just have this image of cigarette smokers. It's a habit, and then throwing the cigarette butt on the floor, it's a habit. And to break this habit, it's such a hard thing. So we're living in a world where everything is already preset and defined, and changing the habit, it's like the biggest effort we can do. It's more difficult than anything else. So it's not something that's going to happen maybe in the next 3 years or 5 years, but if we don't do anything in the next 3 or 5 years, it will never happen. So that's basically my point. I hope I at least partially answered your question, Francie. Yeah. It's much more inspiring. Thank you. Yeah. Well, it's frustrating with all the increasing plastic if you follow the statistics, but at the same time, what else can we do than to just try to make it, like, put some color on it? If we just allow this black and white image to stare us in the face, and all the pressure to be on our shoulders, we can just give up tomorrow. And I don't think that's what this planet needs. Any other comments or questions or responses at the moment? If Dmitry?
Nara.
Yes.
Yeah, nice result. Actually, I was inspired very much. I have question. What was the main source to attract people? Was it internet? Was it TV, or another one? Can you say, or it was mix of sources?
I really, okay, it was 10 years ago. Social media was not so live, but traditional media was like huge support. Without the traditional media, I don't think we would be able to reach so many people. But even more than that, our personal touch with the people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just going and speaking with the people live, and just, you know, you cannot infect another person if you don't touch them. So that's what we did. We really went and we touched people. So that's why I feel the conferences where we meet live, they're much more contagious, because the virus of cleanup transfers much more lively when we meet in person. So so
Okay.
next year, I hope we can meet in person. That's the way to go. Basically, that was it. We went to people, we talked to them, we went to the mayors, we went to the president, we went to everybody, we went to people from the companies, we always organized a meeting, and we persisted, we insisted, we went there, and ultimately, you know, if you're really persistent, they ultimately say yes. And if you have a chance to get them in one place.
Now maybe you can talk about how you actually started to.
How we started to do.
Sorry, I have a lag here probably.
Mm-hmm.
I said that maybe you can share your best practice, how you work with local municipalities and also with journalists. I think it was great example.
Mm-hmm.
You remember?
Yes, sure. So thank you, Heidi. So we've recognized in Slovenia that the main way to get to the people was through municipalities. That's where things happen. And so we had Ursha, she's now still the president of our NGO that organizes cleanups and zero waste and so on. She wanted even to go for member of European Parliament. She was not elected, but still, she's a very inspiring person. So she was the one who was reaching out to each and every municipality in Slovenia. And we've prepared a document, like a signed document, a contract of collaboration between the municipality and the organization that coordinated it. And then we used a map, which was online, where we've marked every municipality that participated with green. So imagine a map of Slovenia was red, municipalities joining became green. And we've managed to get 206 out of 2004 out of 2010 municipalities, something like that. Like 6 were missing, and we were in constant communication with the media, and we were just putting this map in front of their faces. So the media then started putting a lot of pressure on municipalities, asking them, "So can you please explain to us why are you not on the map? Why are you not green?" And the capital was there as well. It was red. And the pressure was so huge that they just could not be on the map. They just had to yield in to this pressure. So I mentioned before the yes as the starting point. So you don't take no as an answer. You just like look for the ways, and the media can be great allies to get yeses from people. So municipalities were huge support. And media always look for good stories, and just going to them and asking them, what is the type of the story you want to have? And then they will give you an answer. They will define the type of story you want. And then you can learn how to package your stories in a way that they are attractive for them. And then they will really cover you. So basically that was why we had literally thousands of media coverages, especially around the date of the cleanup. Like in the weeks that before the cleanup, we had like hundreds of pages of media coverages which we like could follow up on and read. It was really huge, and that then creates more pressure on the municipalities, and then municipalities are really willing to collaborate. So not all of them, of course, you have to put more pressure by the coordinators, but for us, these were the big leverage points. Yeah, municipalities, and I've seen it in other countries as well. You know, people who work closely with municipalities, they can have really good results, particularly because municipalities take care of machines. So Heidi, I don't know if maybe you know this story. When Moldova did the first cleanup, they organized a meet up of all the mayors when I was there. You know this story. Yeah, anyway, so there were these mayors there, and we were on a meeting with all the mayors of Moldova, and one of the mayors was kind of very nagging, and he said, yeah, it's easy. And I just got so angry. I stood up and I said, how dare you? How dare you say my machines? These are people's machines. You are just caretaker of these machines. You have to use them for the people, not for yourself. So then many municipalities, many mayors kind of changed their mind after all these presentations, and they also joined the project. Especially the mayor of the capital was really supportive. So, but you know, you need to learn how to communicate, and if you don't know how to go to people who know how to communicate, basically, if you don't know how to do something, find somebody who can do it, and go to them and talk to them. And if they say no, go to another person until you get a yes. And then when you get a yes, then you work with them, and it sounds easy. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of communication, but that's basically it. You know, just get yeses, accumulate yes. The more yeses you have, then in the end, people start asking you, and then you come and you say yes, 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 and then you have people on board. Basically, just to tell the story in short, I think in many countries this is you can compare it. Yeah. Yes, Raimo.
Actually, yes, also in Estonia, the local municipalities was a really big success story because very much of the illegal waste is on the municipal land. And actually they figured out that, okay, we're about to get tens of thousands of people coming to help us to get rid of it. And actually for the municipalities and also for the landowner, it's the easiest and actually the most cheapest way to get the physical waste out from the bushes, out from the woods, out from the places, and to one place. It may be like tricky to understand it for them, but technically it's the cheapest and most convenient.
Yeah. Like it's not black and white. It's not. There's gray areas and there is disagreements. So, but in any case, yeah, if you find good communication, then things can work. And going to municipalities is really, really crucial. Yeah, as you said, Heidi, municipalities, media, and schools, Ministry of Education, and then how to work with them. Like I was really, really happy to listen to the Olympic Committee of Africa. Heidi, this really made my day. This really, 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 really made my day. I was so happy. I was so happy to see that.
It made my day too. We have been with a lot of work with them, and we have the meeting in next week already. So we have Adli taking part.
Yeah, so this really made my day because Olympic Committee in Slovenia was such a huge support because they are connected with all the sport organizations in the country. And if we have the Continental Olympic Committee, that's just, woo! You know, I would be celebrating. If I was from Africa, I would be like, woo! I would be like dancing with the drums and everything. I would just like have a party for that because, you know, sport figures are such a huge influence. And if you have them on board, you know, just, it makes life, it makes work so much easier.
Yeah, we need this kind of huge
and
organization.
Then you go to these
and alliances.
So yeah, then okay, to get 5% globally, let's say we definitely need more and more of these organizations, and then your support from your local communities comes by connections. Like current president of FIFA, you know, football association, is from Slovenia, and I guess we could get to him somehow, but we never really tried. But imagine, you know, you have FIFA with Messi and with Ronaldo and all these guys picking waste instead of ball. You know, that's huge visibility and huge publicity, which you don't really pay for, but it makes a big difference.
We have talked about it. So let's do it.
We have talked
about it.
Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah, but then you have to come with a good message. You don't just go to them and say, hey, you have to be really ready and to bring your message in a few seconds and tell them like a elevator pitch kind of thing and get their attention and get them on board. So that's what needs some preparation. But in any case, you know, maybe somebody from the Netherlands knows somebody who is globally influential, and then in this way you can. Yeah, I see Virginia is working with French Football Federation. Yeah, we worked with Slovenian Football Federation as well. So just, yeah, getting people on board works, and going with a higher influence to a lower influence normally helps. So if you have FIFA on board, then if you go to the Bulgarian or German or whatever football association or something like that, it's easier to talk to them because you have already the blessing or the support from the higher institution. So yeah, we did use a little bit of that as well, trying to go to the higher institutions and then with their blessing, whenever you go to somebody on a local level, if you say, yeah, we have the blessing of the president of the country, we have his support, then, you know, people listen to you. They don't just think you are some kind of weirdo who is doing some guerrilla campaign trying to mess things up. Yeah. So just to see now, I see Virgin or Heidi or anybody else, any other comments, or I have a little bit of a game or something prepared if anybody wants to go with me on that. Are you willing to go with me? Heidi, you have a question or comment?
I just wanted to comment that I think being persistent is a key word in this work, what we are doing. And it's always like stepping out of the comfort zones. And usually the change is out of the comfort zone. And this is not easy path what we are doing. But I think if we have this kind of really global family and we stick together and we can, you know, rely each other's best practices or foremost to the energies, then we can do a lot. But Nara, I really liked your story about the girls from university. I don't remember what country it was. Maybe it was Bosnia and Herzegovina, 2 girls who were really persistent with the, maybe it was Minister of Environment. Maybe you talk about this story too.
Okay, that was Moldova again, actually. It was one of the girls. So basically, there is this methodology I used in our cleanup when we started. It's called Dragon Dreaming, and it's for project management. And a part of this methodology is that how to get a yes from the people. So there is a recipe for it. And the recipe is like this. You go to them and present your point. And when they respond, you write everything down and you keep asking, and you will get a lot of no's. Whatever they say, write it down. Go back to your team, prepare more answers, go back to them, say, we thought about this and this and this, we've corrected it, so what do you think now? They will say, oh, well, you know, but this is still not in order, this is bad, that is bad, this is bad, and you write it down patiently, go back to your team, correct it, go back to them. Hello, you know, we corrected it, you know, what do you think about it now? And then they will say, no, 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 no. You go back and forth that way. So this girl from Moldova, she wanted to get a hotel for their big event. So in Chisinau, in the capital of Moldova, there is a big hotel where everything starts. So if you want to have a startup event, you do it there. And she really wanted to have that thing. And you know, they were 18 and 25 years old. They were the leaders of the project, young girls with their schoolmates. It was a very inspiring thing to see. So this 18-year-old girl is going to the mayor and to the director of the hotel asking, I really want to get this hotel, and he's telling her no. She comes back to me and to her cousin. They were cousins, the coordinators, and we speak about it. She goes back. She comes back. He still said no. She went 8 times. And on the 8th visit, he said yes. And they got it for free. Normally, the minimum charge is 500 euros to get a hall. They got it for free. So I love to tell this story because there was a lot of persistence there. As you said, Heidi, you just keep going, and not going in a way like through the wall with your head, but really listening to the other person, not being arrogant, but being humble. That's, I think, crucial. Well, yeah, I see the mayor of Munich. Yeah, I really liked that we had the mayor of Munich there as well. I have really good friends in Munich. We could connect them as well. They will be very happy to hear about it. And we did that often when we had one mayor's support, then we went to the neighboring mayors and we talked to them. So you use, especially if it was a bigger city, you go to them and you say, yeah, I have a mayor, this mayor's support, and let's talk about how we can involve other mayors. And I don't know, maybe Holger would know the answer. The methodologies. I can just type it. So since I mentioned Dragon Dreaming, one of the key things mentioned in Dragon Dreaming is that the founder needs to step away. So once the team builds up and when the team shares the dream of the initiator, then the initiator needs to step away for the people to really take up the dream, the vision of the project. And this happened in our team in a way, like 45 days approximately into the project, there was a rebellion against some ideas which me and my friends were coming up. They thought they were too big. And then I had to step down. So I just moved away from my leadership position. And I was just doing menial stuff. If you ask me to take bags or to do anything like everyday stuff, bring a pizza or whatever you want. I went and did that. And then 3 months later, I was invited again into a leadership position as a leader of awareness team, and I accepted it. But it was not my initiative, it was other people's invitation. So that's one of the wisdoms of Dragon Dreaming. So if you're an initiator, it's a good thing to step away and to trust your team at a certain point in the project. Okay. Anything else? Any questions? Any comments? Any? Because I see Heidi. She's like, yeah, maybe. Okay.
No.
There's a game I would. No?
It's always so great to hear your stories. You are like our golden storyteller, a person who is like the best expert mentor in Let's Do It. Well, my mentor. So I'm so honored to have you here. Thank you so much. I'm emotional right now. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Heidi. I'm also emotional because it's a big thing. You know, I had people, you know, there were people being born, and died in this project who were part of it. So it's a really like it's a whole life that happened in this, you know, this thing. So okay, let's do a game if you're willing to do it. I see. For some years, Sharp is asking a question, so I will answer this question. So I'm around since 2009. We did our cleanup in 2010 and 2012, and then I've been traveling around and working with many other countries. So like, for example, I go to Romania and I'm not going for the cleanup, but I'm going for another project. And the people from Romania figure out that I'm there, and then from Romanian cleanup team, and they, of course, I have to go to their event and I have to meet them and I felt I don't have time. I'm on another event and I'm not going to stay in Bucharest very long, but no, I have to go there. So I have friends now in so many places, really, really good friends who we went through thick and thin. Yeah. You remember? Yeah, I should remember you, but yeah, it's this small screen, and people are different on screen than in reality. Yeah, unfortunately. Okay, I just invite you to one little exercise. You can do it also writing in chat if anybody is inspired, or you can do it in your mind, in your head. So if I ask you, why are you doing this? What comes to your mind first? Why are you part of this? Why are you participating in this coordination of cleanups? What's your first answer? Anybody? Why? I love people. Wow. Somebody else? I love nature. Okay, let's start with these two. I love people and love nature. So the game goes, and we are so powerful together. I feel we have to do it. Okay, let's stay with the first two. So then the next question, so in this game, in this practice, in this exercise, is to again ask why. So why do you love people? Why do you love nature? Why do you want to inspire and educate others? You will see where I'm going if anybody types their answers. Why do we need to be powerful together? Uh-huh. 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 Yeah, I see a few answers there. I'm just reading them. Like, we are in an emergency. So for you, why are you touched by this emergency? Why do you feel this is for you emergency, or for Virgin? Uh-huh. I'm just going to the next question, to the answer. So you can do it on your own, also with your friends. Whenever you get an answer, you ask why, and you ask why, and you ask why, until there is an emotional reaction inside you. And quite often, this emotional reaction can be like, but, and you just blurt something out. It's not so much from the reason, it's more like from the right brain part. And then try to connect with that feeling, that emotion that comes alongside with this why. And quite often, when you are working, you can remember this why. When you're talking to people and you get a no and you're demotivated, you just remember this why, and it can give you the power to move on. So your persistence, Heidi, this is why I remembered it. In this project that I'm a part of here, so you can see the walls in the back. That's an old house which we renovated. So there is my sweat in these walls. It's not just the house. It's a building that I contributed to. This sweat, there is a why behind it, and we did exactly this exercise when we started in 2013. I remember like very vividly the day when we sat next to a small church by the coast on a sunny winter day, and we did a why exercise. And I remember the words which I blurted out in front of my friend, and the word was, well, because I want to be joyful. Because I want to be joyful, that's what I'm doing it. And that struck me so much. So it still keeps me alive. It's still, when I'm in struggling, then I just remember, oh yeah, actually, it's about me. I want to be joyful. And my joy is something that contributes. Then if I do it in a joyful way, whatever I do, then this will change the way my activities unfold and how I get other people on board. I'm not doing it in a nagging way because I hate the waste. I'm doing it because I want to be joyful in a good environment with good people. As you said, Heidi, I think you wrote something about people. Yeah, the creation, the nature, and so on. But ultimately, if you do this exercise, you will get to something very primal inside you, and try to connect with it, and this will guide you through your work, through your efforts. Personal, because it's about you. It's really about you. Yeah, you're so happy when I do something with others. Yeah, Virginia, I completely understand you. It's really good. Today in the morning, I did some exercise carrying stones from the house and carrying muddy earth just to warm up. I call it agro fitness. In this, it's like construction fitness. I don't go to the gym. I go to the house to build, and it warmed me up. And also, I did something useful, and there were other people around me. We could chat. Okay, so we've touched quite a few things. It's 6:10, 6:11. I shared in the beginning, maybe for those of you who were not here, I can share other things that I shared before, which are, I will share them again in the chat. Like, this was one of our tools. If you're not here, it's our final report. It helped a lot to quite a few people from other countries. We also shared, maybe I can just scroll up, how to get 5% people is the question. Okay, oops, no, sorry. No. Yes, basically, I just shared these two things, like a video and our final report from Slovenia. And I will use it also as a transition to the next part, the second part of the presentation, which starts in 15 minutes. But for now, let's see if there's anything else from your side, any comments, feedbacks. Thank you for participating. I have a great competition in the inspiring stories from so many other countries, which I would be so happy to be there as well. But I hope this was useful and helpful for you. Dimitri, I see you turned on your camera, your microphone, I think.
Thank you, Nara.
I see the thing from producers from, what's your name, Ngagyon? I love the name, Ngagyon. So let's do it, Cambodia, with the producers and plastics and so on. I see how often, even on the conference, we get stuck with the technicalities. It's good to understand them. It's good to know how what happens to the waste and how to tackle it, and to have expertise in zero waste and so on. And for reaching 5%, you don't need to know that. There are many other people who know it. You need to be empowered with people and work with people. I think, from my experience and from what I've seen in other people, that's in other countries that were really cool. You get experts on board, and then they do the work. You don't need to do everything. You just have to learn how to talk to people and to inspire them with your example, with your stories and your messages, and with your smile and your like when I look at Heidi, she's always like, poof, she inspires everybody. Virgin as well, and Patrick, and all of you. Okay, if there's nothing, yeah, Virgin, you have a mask. Oh gosh, you're in public place. Ah, cool. Okay, cool. So good to see you. Yeah, great. Okay, Francie, you are Initiative Plastic from. Where are you from, Francie? Your name is Francie, or? Okay, if I may
yes,
ask.
my full name is Franziska, and I'm from Hamburg in Germany.
Cool, Hamburg. So you are from the German team, or?
Jana, like a crew member of Initiative Plastic, is the, how do you call it, responsible person for Hamburg.
Wow, cool. It's a big city. Okay, cool. Lovely to see your faces as well. Because this is what moves things, knowing the people and knowing the faces. And I miss the parties. Normally on these conferences we go out and we come back at 3 a.m. and that's a bit missing. But what can we do? It's unavoidable at this moment. At least we have this facility that we can meet with. Anything from your side, Francie? Anything? Any thoughts? Any ideas? Any inspirations? Francisca.
I think I got a lot of inspirations from you all talking, and I can't really think of anything to add right now.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe, hello?
Yes. Hello, Cameroon.
Maybe I can share some. Greetings of Cameroon. I've been listening to the great inspiration coming from all of you, and we really feel empowered. I think that the day 2 of the conference is giving most of us a lot of power, a lot of hope to be able to do better in our environmental issues. So my thoughts are actually, according to the topic of how to mobilize about 5% of the population, I was just thinking, because most of the waste issue that we've been talking about has a source. And maybe if we actually start getting to the root of the matter, then we can actually know how to spread the leaves, because the producers who are getting all of us engaged in these activities are like the primary, it's like the primary responsible for the waste that we face. So maybe solutions could actually come from these people more if we actually get to them. Because I was thinking the total amount of plastics in my country, Cameroon, is really terrible. And every day we do clean up, every day we go out, we sensitize the public. We try to make them realize that these plastics are really dangerous. Not only plastic, of course, other waste. But we believe that day by day, when the people are even getting engaged into trying to delete or to reduce the amount of plastic, those companies and those they double the rate. Very great, quite challenging on how to really tackle this waste here. And thanks to our President Heidi, we've really developed some methods which we are employing and hoping that is going to bring great changes. But my humble proposal was, if we could really change the mindset of these producers. I don't know how. Maybe we can actually mobilize the population to together so that we can, I don't know, we can employ the waste methodologies like the 5R, either refusing, refuting. We're trying to recycle, because we are actually talking about recycling is good, but we will continue to recycle and they continue to produce. At the end of the day, the chain becomes round. It's like turning around a cycle over and over. So that's my humble thought this evening that I wanted to share with you guys, my mentors, because you're really inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you for saying this. I don't know if you were around when I spoke about officials and you know what the focus is of. Yeah, this was more in the beginning. I don't think you were there, but essentially, you don't really depend on having these
Sorry,
people who are.
Yeah, sorry. That's
Oh, thank you. If you can, would you mind if I? Okay. So basically, I hear you. You know, there are people who are causing the problem, and we need to get to them and to talk to them. But then the way to reach them is not necessarily directly like us going to talk to them and to convince them. There are different other ways, and it's a process which can take some years. I mentioned Günter Pauli, who was mentioning the European Union and the relations that take many years, but there is no other way but for us to increase the pressure and gradually, slowly get things to transform, to change. And there are many issues, like even when you try to talk to Coca-Cola and to big companies, they will tell you, well, we're not organized in a way where we define what people in each country are doing. You have to talk to the organization in each country separately. Like, there can be such examples as well. In other cases, you can talk to the global office, and they can influence what's happening in the local office. So it's very diverse, and you cannot just do it so simply. There was this image of how many fingers we have and how many hosts are on the boat, and we cannot cover it all. But still we have to persist and to find more and more people to cover all the holes, so that the plastic is not produced and leaking into the environment. Yeah, we're like a David and Goliath situation. The whole plastic pollution is Goliath, and we are small Davids, but we can do it. That's the whole purpose of this. So now I would like us to wrap it up, and because in some 5 to 8 minutes, I will have another half an hour session, and I would just like to stretch my legs a little bit. before we start. And I just to invite you, I hope it's okay for you if I do 5-minute break, huh? Okay. So the second part will be about library of waste knowledge. And this is something that is a part actually also of this inspiration, because if you want to get 5% of people on board, you really have to know what you're doing and you have to gather the knowledge. So to inspire you to come, I will tell you a short story about an 18-year-old boy who came to a lecture of a very well-known speaker. And after the lecture, this 18-year-old boy went to the speaker and said, "Tell me, how can I become as good as you are?" And the speaker said, "Hey, you just keep filing. Whatever you hear, whatever you learn, just keep filing. Put it somewhere and store it and go through it and learn it by heart. Keep filing. And when you're 30, they will ask you to speak on a conference. And you will be so good that people will be blown away. They will call to you and they will ask you, how do you know all this? And you will say, I just kept filing. And then the speaker ends by saying to the 18-year-old boy, 20 years from now, you'll be so good, it won't even be fair. So that's my invitation to the second part of the event in a few minutes, where we're going to talk how to keep filing so we can be so empowering when we present our stories to others that they will be blown away. And I hope that in a couple of years, we can be so good that it won't even be fair. Okay. Raimo, you will be here probably. If you stay around, you can stay around. You can go to the other room and come back if you want, depending how you feel inspired. You can stretch as well. You will be here around. Okay. Yeah. So I'll just turn it off. I just really need to stretch my legs and go to PP.
Yeah, of course.
And I come back.
But Nara, one thing,
yes.
as there will be another session in the same room starting basically when the hour ends. Then please, if it's possible, maybe we can finish at 55 or so.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for me, I have like 20 minutes really for this presentation.
Perfect.
Okay, cool. So
Thank
see
you.
you in 5 minutes.
Yeah. So just for the information for the people who are in the room, we are about to start in a minute or so. Nora took a small break, and the step further is scheduled at half an hour when the clock is physically at 30, then we are about to start.
Okay, here I am. So it's, oops, what am I doing? Okay, here I am. Here I am. It's 6:30. Yes, X30. I'm back. Whoever is here is here. It's another wisdom from World Cafe. No, Open Space. You don't need people who you think should be in your team. You just need the people who are there. That's it. Whoever is here is the right person. Oh, look at him. Raimo is in the wrong screen. Okay, so I will begin now with the second part, which is about knowledge commons. And I'll start sharing my screen. I hope you can see this. I guess you can see this, yes. So, you definitely know about Wikipedia. I don't think there's anybody in the world who doesn't know about Wikipedia. And Wikipedia is a very general library that is a knowledge commons. If you don't know what a knowledge commons is, it's like an encyclopedia or a library that's created, curated, edited, administrated by the users themselves. So it's not top-down. It doesn't have any editorial. So this is, as an example, an entry about Let's Do It World, as it was done some time ago. Let me check. At the bottom, normally you have, it was last edited on 8th of December 2020. And you can read it on your own if you want to see, is it accurate, is it not, how much does it reflect the work we've done. So this is something which in a program that I'm part of, which is called Communities for Future. We're trying to do a library of all the community-led action on climate change and sustainability in, okay, Ram is leaving, thank you. So all the knowledge about community-led action on climate change and sustainability in Europe. We're not excluding global, but we are more focusing on Europe. And we would like to compile all this knowledge to increase our impact. We're working with policymakers, with European Commission, and so on. So our focus is not so much waste, it's not farming, it's not all the other topics that you normally talk about. Our focus is community-led. So it's starting from bottom up. It's us who are doing it, who are understanding, who are understanding the need for it, who are trying to make an impact. So inside this library, inside this platform, there is a wiki. So wiki is the word that's used in Wikipedia, and we are using this platform to create our library. We call it Communities for Future Wiki, And inside this wiki, you can see like zero waste and let's do it world. So when you click on let's do it world, you will find a little bit different entry with much more data. And here you can find also the links to different countries. So what we've created basically is for any kind of movement, any kind of organization, they can have a platform here where they can put their data, make it visible. For now, we have a short entry about Romania and a bit longer entry about Slovenia, which tells the story about those countries. And what we're trying to make available for the movement is an infrastructure to have all the data, all the stories in one place. And it can make our work much easier. In the organization I work for, it is called ECOLISE. ECOLISE, I can type it later, which is Holding Communities for Future platform. We really, really want to have as much data as possible in European legislation, so we can have data to present to the governments, to industry, and so we can have a good leverage point for changes in the future. So what we are creating alongside this library is also trainings for the people who would like to contribute to such a library. And because this is knowledge commons, you can contribute with your own expertise, with your own topics that you're interested in. So let's say here on the starting page, you can see movements and networks of community-led initiatives. And if you click on it, you can find some like theoretical explanation, and then later on you can find key movements and networks of networks. And we are listing them starting with our members, while waste is towards the end, zero waste and let's do it world cleanup day. So basically zero waste and let's do it are here mostly because I'm passionate about them. So I'm really pushing. So we have some entries there. But I would really, really need your support and your help so we can have good data in this library. So through your support, that's the only way to do it. People think, why? We need action. We don't need to have all this information there. It takes a lot of time. Why would we even do it? And here I again say, you don't need to do it. You just pick up a phone, call a professor, call an academic, let students know we have the need for research projects in this field, and they will do the work for you. We've seen young people interested in this topic, and they would be very happy to do the work. You just need to reach them. And then we can have very good entries, and all the information then will be available for our work in the future. I've seen how much help our final report brought to so many countries around the world. So I would like to have this library as a living document. So it's not something that you print and it stays like that forever. This is something that's changing, that develops through years. There is a bit of hindrance or an obstacle with it being in English. But however, this is not necessary. You can do it also in your own language and use it for your own purposes in your own country. So if you're interested to contribute, to participate, you can let me know. You can write to me at my oopsie, what's happening? Sorry. I have to write to everyone. That's it. So if you write to me, I can let you know when we have our educational programs and what the technicalities of contribution to this thing are. And then like the infrastructure is there, the support is there. We are financed through projects, which is awesome. So I would feel it's a waste if we don't make use of this kind of opportunity. So this is one of the tools that we are using. And then we have another tool, Oops, where am I now? I have to go here. This other tool is Zotero library, and Zotero library is a how to put it? Yeah, it's a library with many where we can make collections of knowledge, and then like put different documents in there. So far we have 1,500 different items. There's some Let's Do It stuff. For example, I've added just this recently added document by, oops, what's going on? Here it is. So I can click on the link. Sorry, it doesn't work the same like in, I don't know if you see it now even. No, you don't. Sorry. Yeah, so this is a recent article in Romanian about Let's Do It Romania in 2010. So imagine you have all the data about world cleanup in one place. So you can see what's happening in Romania, what's happening in Germany, in Cambodia, it can be global, of course. I said we are focusing on Europe, but the infrastructure is the same and it can be used for the whole planet. And then with this, we can influence people by them understanding how huge our efforts are from bottom up as community action. So Wiki, a Communities for Future Wiki, including the knowledge about Let's Do It, is the most visible and public way of people seeing what's going on. And then we have the other part, which is Zotero library. That's the scientific data, articles, studies, journals, theses, you name it. You know, you can have their books, and you use this Zotero library to link it because more credible. So basically, that's what we've designed. That's the idea, and what we would like to have is more contributors from Let's Do It. So if you would be willing to contribute, Virginia is thinking about Wikipedia, yeah. So in the long run, our vision is to connect with Wikipedia. So we are creating a more focused information, and if there is a broader information somewhere else, like Wikipedia, then we want to keep it there. Of course, we're not competing; we are just complementing what's there and adding more information from community-led perspective. So that's the idea. Maybe for the Wikipedia article, these things will be too broad and not interesting. But from our perspective of community-led action, to inspire other people to be a resource of how to do it on their own, then that's what we are trying to facilitate in this library. Something else to say, I think that's it. Normally on trainings, we also explain how this editing is done, but I don't think it's relevant for this circle. Mostly what I wanted to say is the why, and to explain the outcomes, so what we are aiming for with this library. Any questions or comments from the people who are present? I will stop sharing. Dun, dun, dun. Hello, Abdul. Maybe I can just say why we chose the wiki model. Wiki is a way of, so it's quite common. People understand it. People are used to reading Wikipedia articles, and they have a very good interface so that many editors can contribute to it. You need to learn a little bit about it, but it's not too difficult. So, and we are happy that we have our tech support is in Estonia, actually. His name is Tavi. So yeah, so this is our library. And if you know other people who are technically skilled or any students who are interested in this kind of work, please connect them to me. and I'd be happy to see your contributions flowing in and your articles being edited. So that's it, basically. Heidi?
Thank you, Nara. I also wrote here that we recorded all these sessions so we can cut it into nice format, and I think it's something that we can share between our European leaders network. This is what we can do.
Thank you. Once I heard somebody say that we flush millions of dollars of ideas down the mental toilet just because we don't store them. So it's such a waste, you know, such a pity. You know, we are against waste, but then we waste all our ideas and all the knowledge because we don't write it down. And I've been writing to country leaders and they are responding very, we don't know, we don't have it, we don't have time. And I'm like, please, we need somebody to help you to write things down. Link. Okay, I will post the links. Thank you. So I will post the link to the to our So here is the link to the main platform. We took communities from future from the, you know, what's her name? Greta Thunberg, Fridays for Future. So we thought, yeah, we are basically community-led groups. So that's our main website. And then the library, I will just paste to you the entry about World Cleanup Day, which is a work in progress. That's the idea of Wiki. You don't need to have the article peer-reviewed and finalized to perfection. You just keep it alive, and if anybody comes and says, this is wrong, you have to correct it, you say, yay, thank you, you're correcting my article, I'm so happy. So you're not taking it critically, but instead you're glad to see corrections coming up. Okay, so oh gosh, this is World Cleanup Day. I wanted to do, let's do it. What have I done? Second, I'm gonna correct this, because we have two entries actually. This is the one I wanted to paste. Let's do it. World is the link where you can see the entries, like the links to the countries. And if I'm right, am I right? Oh, no, yeah, I didn't create. So we have templates or outlines for the articles, so you can just paste them in. And if you paste the outline, like we have here in Slovenia, there is overview, the purpose, the history, scope of it, membership, and so on. So you can use the same list of titles and then enter your data in there to make it easier for you. For example, you can do it on your own, but this makes it easier. And also you get, as a part of the template, you get this thing on the right, with all the information. How is it called? Info box. Yeah, the info box is a part of the article as well. Any questions? You mentioned stories, Heidi, yes. So we would like to feature more stories from Let's Do It also inside on the website. You know, we featured Let's Do It Kosovo. That was one of the first articles we featured there. And we are, of course, interested in more.
Yes.
Yes,
yeah.
Virginie.
I missed a little bit because I was in the street and so on. Just to be sure about the idea of communities for future, is it like the initiatives from the territories regarding waste coming from Let's Do It movement? What is the idea of it? Because I missed it.
Okay, Communities for Future is a lot broader than it's supporting community-led action, meaning Let's Do It, permaculture, eco-villages, it can be oasis. There's so many movements all around Europe that are starting from the people, and these movements are often neglected and not recognized, and they really needed the support. We speak with the European Commission and they tell us, well, you know, we don't have really good means to support these kind of projects, which are already doing the work that we want in the SDGs and so on. So now we can present all these massive projects around Europe specifically, but also around the world, and tell them we really need to change the financial structure mechanism, and so on and so forth. So we are trying to create one entry point to represent all this action, and then also spread it to all these groups. So we have one point from which we communicate with institutions specifically, influence policies, and so on and so forth. So it's a very broad platform, and knowledge commons, that's how it's called, like a knowledge base, knowledge commons library is just a part of it. Anything else? If there's nothing else, we can wrap it up, because I anyway prepared 20 minutes. We don't need more. I just wanted to give you this insight into this.
So we have the links, and I copied those, and also we have recording, and definitely we will work on this. And thank you so much, Nara. I'm applauding to you, and I think everybody else are doing as well. And let's see in our sessions. Thank you, Franzi, for applauds, and Virginie.
I miss you guys so much.
I miss you too, Virginie.
I want to have live, conferences which is in live, and we can hug each other. So sad, but we cannot do nothing about it. This is the world how it is right now.
Hopefully next year.
What is nice is that we are not just doing nothing. We are doing the things, no matter how is the situation. So that's the power, We are keeping going on, and that's good.
That's good.
Yeah, and I feel really comfortable in my position of being a coordinator of these knowledge bases and stuff like that, because I really want to tell the stories. I really want to have all this information there, and this I'm digesting it as I go, and it gives me such a broad insight in what's going on. It's just amazing. Yeah, it's such an empowering experience. So let's do it. Is a big thing, has a big part in this. It's of course not the only thing, but I more and more appreciate all the work, and I'm just so frustrated with how little visibility we have. So I really want to change that.
I do agree. More visibility we need. Yeah.
We are on the way, guys.
Thank you so much.
Okay, see you in the group in a few minutes, huh?
Yeah.
In the session. Okay.
Thank
love
you.
you. Love you. Lots of kisses and hugs, and hope to see you in live soon.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Bye bye all. Have a nice evening.